Hey you guys, it's MJ. How are you? Today I wanted to talk about the illusion of selfless service. And it's come off the back of having, um, probably the last few years, having certain experiences that shone light on certain communities which pride themselves in being of service, which in essence is true. The truth is we are really all of service to one another. And for us to grow in our expansion, we must be so committed to our own truth and expansion that we can really shine that. We can step into our truth and be the expression that we desire to be. And ultimately, for us to really shine the light that we are, we have to be fully committed to our own merging. And in our own healing, and this is something I do talk about in the book, and generally I think in a lot of kind of new paradigm communities as far as manifestation goes, it's that we really do truly desire to manifest from within the heart. And until we're healing ourselves, until we're really healing ourselves to the point where we're manifesting the life that we are creating, we often get trapped in distraction. We often get trapped in focusing on other people. We often get trapped on thinking someone else has to change for us to be joyful, or thinking someone else needs to change. Now, if we're really solely focusing on someone else, there's something in us that we're not quite looking at. And I mean, I perpetually do this in my practice. I'm somebody who's always taken responsibility, someone who's always had to keep breaking patterns in her life because she could see that certain patterns weren't useful to her, right? And so at this point in my life, I'm aware of people's judgments. I'm aware that people can assume this or think that about me because of the choices that I make, but I'm the only chooser in my life. So if we're consciously choosing to, hold space or to heal or to affect or impact somebody else, if we're choosing to focus on other in a way that feels burdensome, or in a way that feels like we're not getting what we want, then maybe we should choose to focus on ourselves instead. Or maybe we should really be looking at our own lives and look at where are we manifesting the things that we desire, and where is it that we're maybe limiting ourselves. So ultimately, all of this stuff has to do with us manifesting the life that we desire, right? And sometimes a lot of us, when we get into law of attraction and we get into certain metaphysical or esoteric teachings, what I'm aware of, and I was there as well, but we can get lost in rhetoric. That's an expression that one of my coaches uses. So we get lost in rhetoric. We get lost in just spinning the words round of textbooks we read, or courses that we did, or teachers that we've worked with. We spin the words, but we're not necessarily sitting and practicing. We're not necessarily quietening our own mind. We're just letting our own mind project out what we think is true in that moment, but we don't necessarily know what it is, because if it's something we're seeing, it's our own projection, right? We can't dictate what someone else's projection is. And I'm finding that great shift as far as within that healing community, there is a distortion in thinking that we can heal someone else, or that we can be holding space. I never consciously tried to hold space for people. It's how my path has unfolded. My life showed me this is the kind of work you're going to do. I fell into yoga because it was easy for me, and then doors kept opening and kept opening and kept opening. I ended up writing a book because my intuition told me that I had to let everything go again. I had to break down another cycle. I had to break free from another pattern of enslavement, right? And yet no one at this point in my life, no one around me can tell me who I am, because there's only knowing of self. And I can only reflect that back to all of you, that you're the only one who can know yourself. You're the only one who can choose for yourself the life that you choose to live. And if you're living the life that you choose, and you're living a life that you love, and you're living in joyful abundance, yay! And if you're not, I would encourage you to believe in yourself enough to go after what you want, and to not let anybody or anyone hold you back, including me. And that's something I will always release, and I will always let go. If someone doesn't want to be a part of my life, that's okay. I just love people, and I will love them and honor them on the divine path that they're on. I will never make them feel bad for wanting to walk away from me, and I will never close my arms or close my heart or close my mind. At the same time, I need to follow my intuition and protect myself when I'm called to do so, because this journey has shown me the value, right? And this is the thing about selfless service, the distortion or the illusion of selfless service is that it's often to our own detriment, right? Old paradigm selfless service is like breaking your own back to feed the poor. But if your back is broken, how useful are you? You know, selfless service is thinking that it looks like something rather than vibrating the true essence that you are. Words don't teach, vibration does. Really, ultimately, actions don't teach, vibration does. It's the presence that you are, and only you can get there. This is, again, healing is only through self. We ultimately, we don't heal other people. We can only be presence. We can only hold space. But we have to learn how to hold space for ourselves before the universe will align you with the work. So again, I didn't try to do this, and naturally through my own inner work, my reality started to reflect back to me my deeper purpose. So now holding space with people is natural. Now my ability to express whatever comes up in the moment is there, and I don't judge myself for my own expression. I don't judge myself for feeling anger. I don't judge myself for having reactions. At the same time, I'm responsible enough to know when I need to walk away because there is an illusion I don't want to go into. There is an illusion that obviously my higher self is like, back the fuck up, I'm not going back there. And ultimately we can't control one another, so trying is only something that we're usually distracting ourselves with. It's easier to let go, you guys. It's easier just to be in your power, but we can't do that for each other, and that's okay. There's always great love and compassion for you here, always, always. And I know that, you know, the illusion is that us feeling shit or us being victims or us being sad or us being, that's part of life. But blaming each other for how we feel or thinking that it's because so-and-so didn't say it like this or they did this or da-da-da, there's just more distraction energy. It's just more making excuses. And then the arrogance is when we think that we're better because X, Y, and Z. We, you know, I am, and I've felt it because I still smoke and I still do things that are quote unquote like negative and nasty. I just don't feel that way. I don't judge myself. I work with my patterns and desires until they transform. I used to drink and do a lot more. I used to do lots of drugs and alcohol, you know. Now I think just a bit of coffee and just a bit of joints, that's no big deal, right? So I can love myself. I can also be aware that it's not necessarily probably where I'm headed. So I'm aware that the more I love and accept myself, the easier and more open and expansive my life will become, so that habit or that impulse or that desire isn't there. At the same time, it makes me fucking human, which I appreciate. I appreciate that I can say, hey guys, I'm not some squeaky clean fucking spiritual guru. I'm just some girl who had some awakenings, who feels like we could do better. Because I know I could do better. I know I'm not perfect. I know that you know, I have work to do, but I think we all have work to do. I think as soon as we go into judgment and blame, as soon as we go into divisiveness, then we're definitely in a wound. We're definitely in a pain body reactivity, possibly an emotional storm. An emotional storm that's going to show us where our arrogance lies. It's going to show us where we're still hiding from our own aspects. You know, we're hiding from our shame, or we're hiding from our anger, or we're hiding from, and instead of owning it as our own, we project it onto other people. And we then take the superior stance of I am more holy, or I am better than. And that's okay. It's par for the course. I'm just aware that selfless service is about you being selflessly empowered to your path, selflessly empowered to your own transformation. Then one day, in that selflessness, from within your own self, you will shine the light of unity and love into your collective, and that is what will transform them. Not talking about selfless service, which is a lot of us do, but we're not really in it because we're in actually a lot of complaining. We're in a lot of darkness. We're actually still in a lot of pain and abuse and all that kind of stuff. And from that place, work really hard, like be a slave, selfless, like be self. What does that even mean? If you're being selfless, you're not serving anybody because you're not connected to source. You're not connected to self. The only way to be one with the source that you are is to be selfless from within yourself. To not buy into the illusion that service means that you're supposed to be doing lots of stuff for other people. The true service that you have is to shine the essence that you are. That's all there is. That's all there is. And we can easily get caught up and consumed with what we want from each other and then fixate on that. And then when we don't get it, or when someone doesn't act how we think they should act, or they don't do what we want them to do, we push them out of our lives. We reject them. And the interesting thing as I say this is that I'm fully aware how other people perceive that as thinking, oh, well, she does that. I do. I walk away from people, and I've consciously done that throughout my life because I've wanted to live the best life possible. And there are times in my life where I've realized that my vision for my life isn't necessarily what other people vision for my life, but I'm not living for other people, so I'm allowed to choose my life path. And if my life path makes someone sad or makes someone angry, that's what I teach, is that my life path is my own. I'm responsible for my own. And if my actions, especially when they're not outwardly hurting or outward, like I'm not violent to anyone, or I'm not bitching and moaning about anyone or talking shit, if someone then is blaming me for their emotions, for me choosing my highest joy, then that's their choice. And they can create their highest joy as well. But judging someone for their sadness because someone's going after what they want isn't necessarily what I align with personally. Personally, I align with people who have an intelligent mind and people who have privilege. Stop complaining. Stop being a victim of circumstance. Stop pretending like you're holier than thou, and live your life. Live your life. Go make money. Go be free. Go enjoy yourself instead of sitting around and moaning about how scary and shitty the world is and how scary and shitty everyone is in it. And I'm aware. I'll put my hands up. That's the whole point of sharing on this platform. I do it because I want you guys to know that there isn't some fucking squeaky clean perfect guru that's going to tell you all the right lessons and then it's going to be worked out. You're the one that's going to have to figure it out for yourself. And really be mindful of working with other people's energies and assuming or presuming that they should want this, that, and the other because you want to give it. Ultimately, sometimes the illusion is us thinking, yeah, they should want it. Why don't they want this, or why don't they want that? That's none of your business, ultimately. Your business is your life. And what you create for your life is the juice, right? And it's selfless. So if you're focusing on other, you're not in selfless service. You're actually seeking something you'll never find. You're seeking something you'll never find in that other person, rather than sitting with yourself and being present with yourself and you taking responsibility for your life, not somebody else's life. It's not your responsibility to work out someone else's patterns, someone else's choices. It's not your responsibility, nor is it even available for you to accurately assess someone else's path, someone else's journey. It's not our job. Our job is just to be the presence of who we are. You know, and if you're feeling into that and shining that and becoming that, don't let anybody tell you otherwise, and just keep going on the path that you're on. We're all safe. We're all held in the divine. There's just been really dynamic shiftings of cycles, endings of cycles. Some of them a little bit probably out of the blue, and yet with deeper reflection, I can see that it wasn't out of the blue. I can see that there's energies that have been bubbling for a while. That's the power of the intuition, right? When we get to the other side of cycles, we could see how the intuition was guiding us and showing us certain things all along. Certain things that once the release happens, there's like a higher shift where we realize, okay, I knew this was coming. I could feel this one coming. I could feel this journey was coming to an end. Whatever, right? There's more here. There's definitely more little nuggets here. And of course, I'll keep sharing with you guys. Yeah, just keep focusing on your own joyful abundance and flip the selflessness. Remember that selflessness is really just you making yourself a priority, not from an egoic place of you thinking you're this or thinking you're that, but from a heartfelt place, from a place of you really sitting for a few moments every day and checking with your heart what you're meant to do today, where are you meant to flow today, how can you be of highest service today, and recognize, for me, that's been my journey for the last 10 years, sitting and meditating every day and saying, how can I be of highest service? And what's amazed me is that my highest service keeps leading me to better and better experiences, better and better, more joyful experiences. So I feel blessed. I'm blessed and thankful for all of you. And I want to remind you that selfless service shouldn't feel like you're breaking your fucking back for people. Selfless service shouldn't feel like you're being attacked by people or dragged into situations by people. Selfless service is you having the freedom to choose your joy. In any moment, you can either choose to go, or, wait a minute. Yeah, I can joy. Say what? Hey, Michelle! I'm just finishing up, my friend, so I'm going to go off, and then hopefully it will go live. Yeah, but Rochelle, don't you think we all did? Don't you think we were kind of, we all thought that selfless service was meant to be like really tough and hard work, right? We all, as in we've all come from that. Hence the reversal of the world's thinking, that now we're flipping the paradigm and we're suddenly going, oh shit, fuck, we're not all supposed to be miserable at all. We're supposed to be joyous, empowered creators so that we can transform the misery of this planet. Fuck. I know it takes a little while to work out and then embody and then integrate, but yeah, once we see the joy, that's been part of my naive learning, and especially this last phase, that my weird default mind, or just the being that I am, I always saw the best in people. Oh, I love you, Rochelle. Yeah. Oh, I don't know where I was going. Anyway, Rochelle, love you loads. Thank you so much for joining me. Reach out. Feel free to message me. You're more than welcome to. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And I just want to permission you to love yourself today. You know it's there. You know the spark is there. It's always inside. And it's a journey to permission ourselves to just be joyful, you know? It's not always easy because we're human and we do stupid shit. Love you. Huggles. Cool. Have a good day. Bye.